What's up, Fantasy A-Team Nation? I'm your host, Josh Jenkins, and today's video, we are going to unveil our Week 8 top quarterback matchups. But before I start the show, I'd like to welcome my good friend and co-host, Zach Roberts, back to the show. Welcome back, Zach.
Hey, what's up, Josh? Thanks for having me back. 18 Fantasy Nation, what's going on? What's up, people? We're ready to get to this list, man. We got some good quarterback matchups for Week 8. Hopefully try to get you guys, plug these guys in and win this week, man. Got some good matchups. Before we get to the list, man, I want to start with Mahomes, Allen, Murray, Herbert, Brady, and Stafford, man. If you got them, start them. Sorry we didn't get this video up sooner, so we would have had you said start Rodgers as well. We just had a little bit of technical difficulties, so we're just glad we got the video up this week. So let's start, man. I got Jalen Hurts off the top versus Detroit, 23rd defense versus the quarterback. We really love this matchup. Hurts is just another dual threat quarterback. He had a pretty good game last week, 18 completions for 236 yards, 2 touchdowns. What was his rushing stats? Do you have them?
Yeah, he had 13 rushes for 61 yards.
So look at that dual threat, man. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say he also had 1 fumble.
I mean, it's going to happen, people. With all that moving around that he does, he's going to have a mishap here and there. But as far as fantasy points go, man, he puts up a lot of points. So if you got him starting this week, he's got a great matchup. What do you think, brother?
Yeah, I agree. Hurts being that dual threat quarterback. And Detroit, that's a bad team anyway. Defense is not much. So I expect him to put up some numbers in the air and on the ground.
I agree. And with the way the offense is there too, I believe that he'll have a couple extra opportunities possession-wise.
Absolutely. I guess next I'm going to throw out there Joe Burrow. Last week, he went 23 of 38 for 416 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did have 1 interception. This week, they're going up against the New York Jets. They're ranked 10th against the quarterback.
Yeah, I agree. I love this matchup. I think Burrow's really coming into his own. They've got a lot of hot chemistry going on there. So I believe Burrow, he threw for 416 yards and 3 touchdowns. So I look for him to continue with some more of that this week. The Jets, even though they're 10th versus the pass versus the quarterback, I still love this matchup. Burrow just seems to find a way to get somebody, throw the ball to somebody who's open. Jamar Chase is having a great season. I mean, he's one of the top wideouts, especially as a rookie. So I look for him to get Rookie of the Year. So that matchup, or that chemistry is built up huge right now. Then you got T. Higgins, another red zone target, and that Uzomah, which we have on our tight end list and our waiver wire list. The guy started coming into his own also, and him and Burrow have a connection now. They have a good chemistry. So I really love this offense, and I love this matchup for Burrow, even though it's versus the 10th ranked defense. If you got him started, man, he's on fire right now.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that offense is flying high with everybody they have on that team, especially Jamar Chase. I figure he's going to be the Rookie of the Year, at least offensively.
I mean, he could even be the top wideout at the end of the season if he continues on this pace. I don't know if he can continue this pace because it's kind of an unsustainable pace, but if so, he's looking at somewhere around 1,700 yards and like 110 or plus receptions, which is huge for a rookie. So that connection right there is on fire. From last year and earlier in the season, T. Higgins and him have a great connection. He's showing that him and the tight end have a great connection. And then when mixing out of the backfield, dude, that's why it's been so successful, because he's a successful running back. And as he goes, so does opens up all these passes for Burrow and the rest of these guys. So I just look for more of the same this week.
Yeah, and I'll go as far as to say, if you have anybody that plays the Jets, you need to start them.
I agree. Even though they have a great D versus they're ranked 10th right now versus the pass or quarterback, still play that matchup. They're going to have Zach Wilson is out. they're going to have less opportunities on the offense. They're going to struggle on their offense, which means more opportunities for Cincy to get the ball. So that just means more touches for more of the guys. So
Yeah, I totally agree. I
go
guess
with next Kirk Cousins or
yeah, go ahead.
yeah. I got Kirk Cousins on here versus Dallas. Dallas is 24th versus the pass versus the quarterback. Kirk Cousins went off last week. He had 33 completions, 373 yards, 3 touchdowns. So I love this matchup. I think he's going to have to try and keep them in the game. So he'll have to have similar numbers of this to try to win this week. Dallas is a stud. They got a stud quarterback, stud team. Defense, even though they're 24th, I still think they have a solid D. So Cousins is going to have to try and keep his team in the game. That's what I think the game's going to play out. I believe Dallas is going to go up. Cousins and them will have to try and chase and throw a lot. So I think it's a great matchup this week. I love it.
Yeah, I agree. Anytime you got Jefferson and Thielen, Conklin at the tight end and Osborne out there as a wideout as well. Anything can happen as long as Cousins, stay straight, don't throw no interceptions. They got a good team. They can win.
I agree because all those guys you just named are great fantasy numbers guys when they're healthy and they're starters. It's a great matchup all around for fantasy points on both sides.
All right, next I'm gonna throw out Daniel Jones. Last week he was 23 of 33 for 203 yards. He had 1 touchdown through the air. He had 8 rushes for 28 yards and 1 reception for 16. This week they take on the Kansas City Chiefs, ranked 31st against the quarterback.
I know, man. It's killing me every week, man. My defense on my team just got to get better. So, yeah, you got to start anyone playing the Chiefs defense in the pass and in the run right now. We're really bad. So, Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, Danny J, whatever you want to call him, he's going to have a great game, I think, as far as fantasy numbers goes. He'll probably throw 35-plus times, probably throw for 250-plus yards and a couple touchdowns. He did get sacked a couple times, so I'm hoping my Chiefs can get in and pressure him. That's one of the things we're lacking on our defense, so we need to work on that. So I think Daniel Jones has a pretty good fantasy point season, or not season, but week, and I think that, we like or love this matchup. The Chiefs hasn't had a lot of sacks, so I don't know if he's going to get sacked.
I think they have some key pieces coming back to that offense this week. I think Darius Slayton and a couple more guys are coming back, and I wouldn't be surprised, depending on how the rest of the week goes with practice, that maybe even Saquon Barkley's back. And if those guys come back, they're gonna have a good offense again.
I agree, because some of those guys you just named are going to come back. And I know they said that Shepard's probably going to play because he actually went for game time warm-up last week and then didn't go. So he's had another week. So they said he's probably going to go. I just listened to this earlier on the radio. And that Saquon Barkley didn't practice again today. So he didn't show up yet this morning when I was listening. So they don't think that Saquon's going to play. They think that the Booker's going to play. And the way those guys that I was listening to were leaning that if Booker's going to play, it's just, he's just, as much as he's played well, he's not Barkley when Barkley's in his prime, not healthy. So it's just, puts their offense not as high potent as it would if Barkley was at full strength. So that is what they were saying. And I agree with that. That's why I brought it up. But versus the Chiefs right now, anyone can run against us. I mean, hell, they could just pull people out of the stands. It seems like, we can't stop a Pop Warner team right now. So I believe they're going to have a good game, and we'll have to fight to try to win this game. Hell, we could even lose this game. They looked good last week. They crushed Carolina. So I watched that game thinking, great. And they beat them 24-3, and we lost, 24, something like that, to 3. So I'm like, man, it doesn't look good for us this week. So I look for the Giants, and Daniel Jones have pretty good fantasy points this week. So I would start it.
All right. Last one I have on my list, and then if you got anything to add, you can throw it out. And it's Teddy Bridgewater. Last week he went 23 of 33 for $187, 2 touchdowns. He did have 1 pick. This week they face the Washington Redskins, ranked 32nd against the quarterback.
So, yeah, I mean, even though Bridgewater didn't have a spectacular game, he put up, solid, fantasy numbers. He didn't throw for a lot of yards, but he had the 2 touchdowns and a lot of completions with 23. So that's pretty decent. That's not going to win you your matchup, but it's not going to get you the loss either because it's going to put up solid numbers. I look for that to go way up this week. We'll probably throw for over 250 yards, 2, maybe 3 touchdowns. I look for Sutton, Patrick, and I believe Jerry Judy's going to be back this week. And then he also likes to throw to the tight end too, Noah Fant. So I think Fant's going to be on our list later for the tight ends. Look, and Sutton will be. So these guys will have great matchups, and that's going to help Bridgewater have a good matchup and a good week this week. So you could start him if you haven't.
You got anything else to add, Z?
Just kind of an honorable mention. I just like the matchup. Ben Roethlisberger, 29th ranked defense in Cleveland. I like the matchup. Roethlisberger seems to always throw for a lot of, he throws a lot of attempts, which then usually turns into, he had 29 completions last week, which is a lot. 29. He threw 40 times. He had 229 yards and a touchdown. So he could possibly throw for, 250 and above this week and a couple touchdowns versus this Cleveland's weak secondary. So that's just one honorable mention. If you haven't, you can start, and we like the matchup.
All right, folks. There you have it. Our Week 8 top quarterback matchups. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. We'll get to them as quickly as possible. You can also hit us up on our Twitter page at FantasyAteam1, and we'll get to them as quickly as possible. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like, hit that subscribe button, and remember, friends don't let friends auto draft.